hello there, fellow students of the Celts, Saxons and Vikings course. And do you know, this is the last presentation that I'll ever do for Dreaming Spires. So sit back and enjoy, it's going to be really good. I've decided to arrange all these games in order of accessibility, so we're starting off with the ones that basically anyone could play, with what was available to them, and then we will be working our way up to pastimes which could only be enjoyed by very wealthy individuals, and I'm sorry if my voice is a bit off today. Enjoy! So, dice. I think we all know the various games you can play with dice, and things were much the same in the Viking era, with dice being used on their own or as a tool in board games, as we will see. Interestingly, a lot of the dice that we have discovered are weighted on a preferable side, and that says a lot about the human race, that even back then we were cheating. So, moving on to board games now. Sorry about my phone. There are many different board games to play, and they are often referred to in records as tafel games, which meant table games. People of all levels of society played them, and boards could be anything from a beautifully carved work of art to a few guidelines scratched into a church pew. And as we saw with the dice, it was common for the pieces to be made from carved bone, although wood or clay or whatever they could get their hands on could also be used. As for the games themselves, there was of course a large range. The most common was Snaffletafel, which originated from Roman soldiers and eventually evolved into medieval chess. Snaffletafel, naturally, has gone through many iterations, the main difference being board size. The aim of the game was to get your king to a corner of the board, only being able to move in straight lines. The corners were called ports often. Now your king had an army to protect him, and you could only move in free spaces. You'd also aim to trap your opponent's king to stop them from getting to the edge of the board, and sorry if I explained that badly. I'm not very good at that. Many other board games existed, such as Nine Men's Morris, which was usually found on the other side of Snaffletafel board, and is even in the modern day sometimes found on the other side of a chessboard. It's a complicated strategy game that I can't really understand, and then another game is Hallertafel, which was one of those games with a bunch of holes and pegs to move them around in. There was also a little game called Knucklebones, as you can see me trying out here, where you would throw some animal knuckle bones into the air and try to catch as many as possible in the back of your hand. I am convinced this is impossible. And moving on now, here is a picture of a board game in action from the Swedish Ockelbo Stone. It appears to show, in my opinion, a high-level gaming tactic known as eating your opponent's pieces when they're not looking. As for fun activities outside of board games, there was plenty of those as well. Very young children's graves have been found to contain a vast selection of carved wooden toys, all in the image of things such as horses, boats, and swords, and there were other toys such as ragdolls and pipes as well. While playing with them was a pastime for the kids, making them was a pastime for the adults, of course. And for those who didn't care for the crafts or board games, there was plenty else to keep them busy. Young men would compete in challenges of fitness such as wrestling, archery, running, and so on. There were also some ball games, such as one that I cannot even hope to pronounce. It's pronounced Knatzlicker. I looked it up. Yeah, that. It used sticks that resemble lacrosse sticks, and it was a bit like hurling. Now, moving on, I've saved the best till last. Vikings did a bit of ice skating as well. Yay! So, as for less active activities, perhaps for cold nights in the mead hall, our early Middle Ages friends love to tell riddles, although I've read a lot of them, and most of them seem borderline impossible. So props to people who can solve those. Lastly, all people could be brought together through music. Whether it was a song or a story put to music from a bard or a shop or a skald, everyone could enjoy such entertainment on a long, cold winter night. Well, as long as no man-eating monsters crashed the party. And now onto the pastimes of wealthier folk. If they owned horses, they could race them and go on hunts that were partly for eating, but also for the love of the sport. If they owned hounds, these valuable hunting dogs could make hunts very much easier. They were traded and gifted round between lords and the like very commonly. Now, if you really wanted to show off, you could have a special trained falcon, and then you would watch from your horse as it hunt, and you would ride beneath it, so you could have all the entertainment of being with a hunt without actually having to do anything yourself, save for riding a horse and getting a bit of a sore neck, I would assume. And, right, that is the presentation all done. Thank you all for, I hope, not falling asleep. And, well, I guess this is the end. Goodbye.